A pair of wins to close out Season 12, a pair of wins to open up Season 13. That, friends, is a 4-race win streak from our 4-time Formula Neagle champion, Errol Num. Will his dominance continue, or will it last the momentum swing to a different direction? Sanctioned by the Absolute Beginner League, Formula Neagle comes to Road America for round 3 of 8 on the Season 13 schedule. From the Badger State, hello and welcome to Global Sim Racing Channel and the Countdown to Green. Way up in the press box to bring you our Bird's Eye View. Yours truly, Bill Soupson, joined by my longtime ABL partner, Adam Young. In the director's chair is the hardest working man in sim race broadcasting, Joe Peak, armed with cameras located, aimed, zoomed, and focused by GSRC's camera guru, Dougie Beard. As always, as cyberspace flows into your place over these 15 streamy award-worthy minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines, all the stats and facts you'll need to fully appreciate the 45 minutes of simulated skip barber racing that you'll see as it happens right here on GSRC immediately following the countdown. The last time Formula Neagle came to Road America was back in Season 10 when Patrick Fliss, Tuan Tran, Errol Num, and David Burns went 1, 2, 3, 4, all under a 1-second blanket. So since it's been 21 races since we've come to this venue, here's Adam Young to remind you all about Road America.
It's been 21 races? Really?
Yep.
I reject your reality and substitute my own on that one. But hey, you know, for Road America, one of the classic venues in American automobile racing, established in 1955. This is a legendary place, 4 miles in length, 14 turns, and it throws a little bit of everything at you, from high-speed turns to, well, really tight 90-degreers. So it should be a real challenge in these Skip Barber cars here for today. In that race that Patrick Fliss won, I'll tell you, he had to earn that one. As you know, Soup just said, they were all within a second of each other, the top 4 there. Of course, this track's located between Milwaukee and Green Bay in Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, and I will tell you, there is nothing up there except for Road America. I mean, nothing within like 10 miles of the place except a few hotels next to the highway. So to get an idea of what it's like to race here, well, let's go ahead and take a lap around America's National Park of Speed.
Alright, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC Skippy, so let's do a lap around Road America. As you can tell, the front stretch is a long one, and by the time you reach turn 1, you're going to be flying. Turn 1 tends to be a good passing spot, but it's also a medium speed corner, so it can make outbraking your opponent a tad tricky sometimes. Just make sure not to dip your wheels into the grass on the outside, or else it'll be easy to spin the car across the track and into the barrier on the right. Now we take a trip downhill into 3. This is a very important corner to get right because it takes you into the moraine sweep. Botch the exit, and you'll find yourself a sitting duck the whole way down to turn 5. Of course, even with a good exit, it'll become obvious that the huge draft on the Skippy will keep your opponent within easy reaching distance. Telegraph your moves early if they make a go at you, because the kinks in this stretch can make a simple overtake into a tangled mess of cars at the side of the road. There's going to be a huge braking event here into 5, and it's probably your best chance at a pass during the lap. Expect a few drivers to overshoot the corner at least once during the race because of the precision required into this high-speed braking zone. Now it's back uphill, and we throw the car into the blind turn 6. Turn in too late and expect to mow the lawn around the outside of the bend. If you managed it correctly though, we've got a little lift into the fast kink of 7, and after that we head into the hurry downs. This is a place where drivers may try a sneaky pass into 8. However, defending shouldn't be too big of a problem because this square bend leads directly into the carousel. A slow exit won't put you at too much of a disadvantage if you elect to take the inside line on entry. Now, as we continue downhill around the more than 180-degree carousel, it's all about balancing the car on the throttle. Exercise patience and be sure not to get overeager to punch the gas. Once you are able to put the power down, we find ourselves approaching the kink. Even in the underpowered Skippy, this bend can be scary and punishing. There's almost no runoff on either side, so mistakes will be costly. As you can tell, we're deep in the woods now in the Kettle Bottoms. A couple more gentle bends in the road, and then you line up your car for the braking into Canada Corner. Here's a great place for a last gasp overtake if you're in a final lap battle. Once again though, drivers are likely to outbrake themselves as they attempt to go deeper than their rival. After that, we head back uphill through 13 and 13A. You've got to commit through this blind left-hander and stay brave enough to keep your foot in it all the way through. From there, swing the car to the left side of the track, get it slowed down, and really focus on nailing the exit of the last corner. If you screw it up, the uphill climb on the longest straight of the track is going to make you wish you hadn't. Hopefully, you got it right to keep your competitors from breezing past, and as the little Skippy chugs uphill past the pit entry, you finished your lap around Road America.
Just over 2.5 minutes to get around the 4 miles of Road America, and there you have a lap around. Now let's go ahead and take a lap around the point standings. I can probably get this done by under 2.5 minutes here. In his usual spot at the top is the Roland Estonian Errol Num. In 46 career starts, the Bushfink Peak driver has 26 wins for a series-leading 56% win rate. My gosh. The Slovene machine Patrick Flish is keeping Num honest, having posted a second and a third so far this season. Well on his way to rebounding from a disappointing season 12 is David Third Degree Burns for Two Stupid Dogs. Somehow a fourth place last time out at Mid-Ohio was enough to jump the fan belt Johan Vanderbilt for Sea Bottom Racing up 3 spots. Rookie Sami Takala holds station in 5th. The big mover from last time was Season 6 champ Mama Jean Racing Tuan Tran, who climbed 12 spots. He's up into 9th now. Let's go ahead and look at the team championships. Frederick Neptune has chipped in 2 points for Bushfink Pink. Now understand that comment's not meant as some kind of backhanded compliment, but with only 5-point gap between first and second, it shows that when teamed up with Errol Num, a small contribution could be the deciding factor in which team gets the crown. Diogo Francisco was thought to be the driving force behind Wanderlust Racing, but at this point, Timo Vascalampi is the team leader. The duo of Francisco and Vascalampi have established themselves as legitimate threats for the team championship. The multi-time champ Tuan Tran and Bastian Hausmann, 3rd place after 2 events, is a slow start. Look for Mama Jean Racing to close the gap. Another veteran pair is Two Stupid Dogs, a.k.a. David Burns and Vincent Bream. They'll share 4th with Sea Bottom Racing, powered by Michelle Rugenbrink and Johan Vanderbilt. Okay, so Adam, we've talked about the track, gone over the points. How about we look at the race details?
Yeah, one of the race details I'm concerned about with right now is what's going on with Darrell Waltrip's tie on the Daytona 500 broadcast. Spoiler alert there. All right, hey, we're at season 13, and I can't believe how many seasons I've already been a part of the Absolute Beginners League. It's one of the best, most fun leagues to watch here on iRacing, because these Skip Barber cars on these tracks, they usually put on a really fun show. Around 3 of 8 here for this season. There are no drops in the Absolute Beginners League series. Race distance, we're going to go 45 minutes here for today. Now the setups are open, but they're with reduced fuel in order to fit in that pit stop. And that pit stop, as you've seen, that could make the difference between winning or losing this race, especially if you don't put enough fuel in. We've seen that a couple of times before. In-state cap is at 18 here today, and there are no faster pairs in the Absolute Beginners League.
Okay, the practice session is done, and the boys are out there right now putting in their qualifying laps. No one's able to make it around yet. Let's see if we can go ahead and look in on one of them. It's 4 miles around, and we talked about 2.5 minutes to get this done. They have, how long did they give them to qualify here today? They have 15 minutes, so I guess we have a little bit of longer pre-race show than we expected here. It's going to be a little bit longer. We're looking there at the purple and black attack of Bastian Hausmann for Mama Jean Racing. Adam, we got a graphic on screen right now. Tell us how it feels out there.
Yeah, it's a warm one up in Wisconsin apparently here today. Winter, what's that? 83 degrees, partly cloudy skies. Hey, that's going to put that track temperature at 108 degrees. With these little tires of these Skip Barber machines, I was out there practicing a little while ago. They are going to be sliding around here for today. We talk about that sometimes anyway, but today with that high track temperature, it's really going to be the case. Wind's not an issue out of the south at 2 miles an hour. Humidity at 57%.
You know that iRacing always goes the extra distance. Looks like they've programmed into their platform a little bit of climate change as well. As it seems to be a little warmer in Wisconsin than one would think.
Yeah, with already green grass and no snow on the ground. Almost makes me want to go find a webcam of what it actually looks like at Road America right this second.
A lot of viewers in Wisconsin might be a little jealous right now of what they're looking at. We're looking right now at Johan Vanderbilt, the fan belt. We talked about him. He had a good run last time. He's picked up several positions in the points. still yet to put in that first lap. Johan being very busy. He's not only racing in the Absolute Beginner Formula Neagle, but he's also going over. They have a new series for Absolute Beginners. It's the IndyCar series, races on Saturdays. We covered here on GSRC. Johan put on a great battle last time as he came home. I believe in 4th last time at Montreal. Looking at Liam Quinn, series organizer here for ABL. All these drivers still looking to come around. This is, I guess, this is their out lap, so I'm not even sure if he's working on his hot lap now, I believe. Let's go ahead and look at Sharkville. We believe he is not the leader in qualifying, but might be the first guy to come across. Here they start to turn in.
Yeah. Yeah, David Burns already at 2:33.73. Now, expect that to go up a little bit, but maybe not too much. Patrick Fliss, that's going to be a mark that we're going to have to watch out for there with a 33.2 here, early pole. Still looking for the likes, though, of Euro Num to go ahead and lay down a time, though. And he was fastest in practice, so we'll see where Patrick Fliss, I think, was about 6. And there you go, Soup. There's a 33.1 out of Euro Num. Of course, no help from the draft or anything like that.
Let's go ahead and put the camera on car number 26, Eric Mickey. He's currently 13th and falling in qualifying right now. Adam, we're going to do something special with Eric. He was brave enough to try to put the spotlight on him. So far, the spotlight has not been kind to our drivers. We had it on the first race on Mikael Hoflandaisen. He spun in the first lap, and then the next race, we had it on Barnett, and he got punted. What do you know about Eric Mickey?
Yeah, so, you know, there's 2 parts to this if you're just joining us in the whole Spotlight driver part, so we might want to think about doing Eric Mickey's early. Bombshell Motorsports driver, and already made 1 career start here in the Absolute Beginners League, but hey, you know, we always like the new guys, always like to see him out here, and, you know, when he finished 13th place, at season 13 here in Road Atlanta there a couple weeks ago. Yeah, he at 13th place. You got to earn those top 15 positions here in the Absolute Beginners League. I mean, we start 30+ cars in these races, so that is an accomplishment for your first start. Be looking to see what he can do here today.
Well, there are a lot of drivers that are still looking to get that 13th position. So while his 13th was his best so far, it was also his only one. So we wish him the best. Hopefully the curse of the spotlight won't fall on him, and he'll be able to put in another good effort today. Thanks for braving the spotlight, Garrett. Looking at Rob Adams.
I think Soup might have to start bribing guys to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Could go back to Joe's podium peaks.
You're killing me. You're killing me. He choked. The thought of that. Looking at Rob Adams as he put it in. Oh, he's sitting in 8th position. That's a good run from him.
It is. That's a respectable lap here too. Yep. And we're starting to get an idea, as most guys have already completed their first lap of what we're seeing here for today. And you know, he's definitely him and the gentleman in 9th position here. Well, now 10th position. Sam. I got be honest. I think this guy's a newcomer too. First time I'm going to say his name. Katas Kunis. You know him. I think they're the big first 2 that aren't like the, you know, top names in the series. So so good on them here so far early on. Oh, look at that! Tuan Tran moves up into the pole spot. His pole spot there, Soup. 33.017.
He's in there. Now, if we were at a place, let's say like Lime Rock, I'd be taking this qualifying a little more seriously. Adam, I think as long as you're anywhere close to the leader here, it's kind of like Daytona's going on right now here at Road America. This is an awfully big track for these little guys. I don't think anyone's going to be able to pull away from anybody.
Yeah, we might talk about Daytona a little bit here today, folks. That's because, well, one of the biggest races in the world getting ready to go green here in about an hour or so. So I know there's probably some of you guys who are watching this as opposed to watching that pre-race show that's going on right now. At least I hope you are. Anyway, but this is going to be a lot like that. This is about as close to a restrictor plate type track as you're going to get with these cars. Very long straights. Very well, a lot of opportunities in order to draft. So you're going to see pack racing here for today. Remember, the last time out here, the top 4 finishers were all within a second of each other after 45 minutes. And you know, in a road race, if you're a road racing fan, that is a pretty close distance. They are all within each other's draft. So this is going to be a race where you could see a move in the last lap and on the last corner to maybe take the win here today.
We talked about Pierce Cockey being first to put in a qualifying time. Well, actually, it's just the opposite. Shortfield has yet to actually put in a clean lap, so he's still got to get one in. Adam, for new viewers of this series, there's a maneuver that is kind of a signature maneuver for the Absolute Beginner League. That's the 3 wide, shoot the middle down the straight pass. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah, I love it. You know, and I think it was about a year and a half ago when they made some changes to this car. We really started to see that. And I remember seeing it a lot at Spa. And
right.
Where you want to be if you go 3 wide is in that 3rd spot. You shoot the middle and hope for the best. It usually works out that for whatever reason, with the way the air works in these cars, that you're able to get a pretty good jump going up the middle. So it's pretty cool to watch. Be looking for that here today, especially on the front straight where that uphill where you're really going to want some draft help there.
It is really fun to watch. It's really fun to call. And also, don't be surprised if the commentators take it a little cavalier, a little nonchalant, because it is a commonplace maneuver for these guys. We've gotten used to it. Patrick Fliss now at the top of the chart, the Slovene machine.
Yeah, well, he's kind of been trading the pole between him, Tuan Tran, and Euro Num, but I do think that was Patrick Fliss's 3rd lap. I'm going to have to go look at that here real quick while I'm talking to you. And if that's the case, well, yeah, so that's his 3rd lap. So that's going to be the lap that he's going to have to hope for. But look at that time, Soup. That's almost 4/10 faster than what Tuan Tran put down. So now the question is what's Tuan Tran going to do here? And I tell you what he's going to do right now. He's kind of waited in the pits.
Yeah, usually qualifying for the ABL events it's 10-minute qualifying. They allow them 3 laps. They've put on an extra 5 here because we talked about how far the laps are around. I can report that Pierce Cockey was able to finally get in a time, and he sits now, looks like, in 7th position.
Well, Soup, you know, you think about it, the last time that we were here, you were talking about it earlier. It was Patrick Fliss, Tuan Tran, Euro Num, and David Burns that finished 1, 2, 3, and 4. Look at 1, 2, 3, and 4 right now in your qualifying charts.
Now, the guy who doesn't know the rules is in 5th position. His qualifying is done. That's Timo Vaskilampi. He's very fast. We saw him be very competitive. But we always get a little nervous when a new guy comes into the series, doesn't quite know the dance steps yet. We'll see how that plays out. Other drivers up there in the top 10, Bastian Hausmann, he certainly knows his way around. Pierce Cockey, Vincent Bream, a veteran. Miguel Hoflandaisen, now certainly a veteran. Nico Roman, he's done with his qualifying at 10th for Nico. That's a good run. We're looking at Stephen Larkamp, one of the few Americans actually driving the Pennsylvania student.
Yeah, so he's found some speed here, Mr. Stephen Larkamp.
Yeah, and unlike practice times, there's no these are solo runs, so that's a legitimate run for him.
But it gives you an idea of what these guys can do in a draft and the kind of lap times that they can do in a draft compared to without it. And, you know, you're seeing some guys that are almost a full second faster than what they were in practice. I mean, a full second slower than what they were in practice because of that draft. So that gives you an idea of how much of a role that's going to play here. In fact, you start getting into pack racing a little bit, it's going to play even a bigger role because the more cars you get, especially these longer straightaways, the more those times are going to come down.
Our spotlighted driver, Ari Mickey, has put in his qualifying times. It looks like he's going to be about 26, pending a few guys jumping him right now. 36 entry names on the entry list. 34 drivers been able to put in qualifying time. One of the drivers that has not, we're looking at right now, Darren Kuhn.
And that's something to note here, Soup. That start-finish line here at Road America, if you're unfamiliar with it, you're just joining iRacing, or maybe you just never have had the opportunity to race at Road America. It's a long way down that front straightaway, so you're going to have a good run coming out of the last corner to get up to it. Now, the problem with that long run is you've got a big hill to get up before you get able to get to that start-finish line. But in fact, can we ride on board Neil here real quick as he's coming to the line and kind of give people an idea of this uphill that you'll have right here? And so, we'll still be able to ride it here.
Still an uphill.
The pit's still going uphill. I mean, you can see it's almost like you're looking straight up going up that. And then you still got to go probably about another, I don't know, about 1,000 feet past here before you even get to that start-finish line. So it is definitely a long way down.
Not only if you're a new driver, but a new commentator as well. You have to learn to be patient when you call the finish. Let's go to the grid. On the front row, it's the Slovene machine, Patrick Fliss, inside of Tuan Tran. Row 2 is the Roland Estonian Aero Num. David Third Degree Burns flanks him. Row 3 is Timo Vascalampi and Bastian Hausman. The fourth row's filled up by Stefan Larkamp, the Pennsylvania driver, and Pierce Shortfield Cocky. Vincent Bream and Miguel Hoflandaisen go 9th and 10th. Adam?
Yeah, Nico Roman's going to head off row 6 here. Alongside him, the fan belt, Johan van der Belt, starting in 12th. Henrik Kamara in 13th. Floris Bashar in 14th. Rob Adams going to start in 15th in the inside row 8. Michelle Rugenbrake starting in 16th. Sam Katazunas in row 9. Alongside him will be Joachim Lundgren. Kurt Crum in 19th. This is actually racing Kurt last night in a majors race. Neil Bamber in 20th position here today.
Hidden Blackjack is Nico's brother Timothy. He sits in 21st. Frederick Neptune flanks him. 23rd and 24th, Liam Quinn and Rodrigo Fiera. Thomas Kick, the Strudelmeister, is in the quarter-century mark. Our spotlighted driver, Eric Mickey, is in 26th. 27th and 28th, Kevin Mills and Richard Colombe. Behind them are AC Haas and Edgar Sanchinelli.
Yeah, it's starting in 16th position, and we'll round things out here. John Richard started in 31st. I said 16th. I meant row 16. Henrik Tobias Bergman started 32nd. William Ruland in row 17. Daniel Barnett starting alongside him. Christopher Hancock and Darren Kuhn will round out the last row of the field in row 18.
The commentators' wives are happy because we're going to get our GSRC's commentator bonus for getting through the entire field before the green flag falls. Thank you very much. Honey, we're going to McDonald's a little bit later.
That's probably going to get here faster by tax return.
There you go. Put on your dancing shoes. On the front, it is Patrick Fliss. He came into this league with a thunder boom, winning the first 3 races he competed in. Sadly, he was injured in a real-world motorcycle injury that took him out of racing and his real-world activities for a long time. He's feeling much better. We wish him the best right now. As you can see, that not only is he doing much better in real world as well, but his speed is coming back here in the simulated world. Tuan Tran, Errol Num back in 3rd, David Third Degree Burns. The real question, the guy to watch out for is the rookie, Timo Vascalampi. He sits in 5th. 45 minutes of racing here, round 3, season number 13 of the 8-round schedule. You can hear the engine start to harmonize. You know what to do. Gather up your chickens, take cover behind the cows because the horses are out of the barn. Boy, it is a slow start for everybody as they have to get those little skippies going uphill. But Patrick Fliss leads the stampede down into the first corner, followed by Tran, Num, Burns, and Vascalampi. Look how they single file.
Yeah, you're already seeing a little bit of snake in action going, probably about the first 20 spots going back there before things really start to get kind of crazy. But so far, it seems like everybody's made it through turn 1. I don't see anybody really off or anything like that. Go through turn 2, and we'll see if everybody has the same amount of luck. Oh, okay, so right there, that was almost a incident with Tuan Tran. Tuan Tran had all 4 wheels off the grass, but he's able to get it back going straight and not losing positions.
Guys up front, it looks pretty clean. There was a little bit of contact in the back. It looks like a car went over. Record Colombe got turned over. Bergman involved in that one as well. Yeah. Also, Sanchinelli.
Sanchinelli went in a little hot and ended up getting in the back of Colombe there and set off that accident. So, Colombe on his roll bar, not a good way to end the day.
Did not involve our spotlighted driver, though, and that's what's important to us here at GSRC. Fliss, Tran, Num, Burns, Vascalampi up front. Here they're coming right at you now. Look at that Dougie Beard camera shot. Love this low angle shot. You can see the entire field. Now they work their way into the carousel. This thing seems, talk about a carousel. The song never ends once you get in here. You just got to wait before you finally get on the gas.
Now, I'm actually a little impressed here so far at the distance that Patrick Fliss was able to get us. We got a couple of guys in the back going back 10th position here that looked like they were off. They're trying to get it all sorted out. One of those drivers was Pierce Cocky, who's still having trouble. Not a good place to have trouble. Whoa! How he's able to keep that car going straight. That was definitely a hospital wobble out of Pierce Cocky back there.
That was a bad dream that never ended. It started coming out of the carousel and went all the way through the kink. He finally, he's still having trouble.
Canada. He's dirt tracking through Canada.
Oh my gosh. I can see why he had a hard time getting in a qualifying lap. That car is wicked. He settles into 11th. Let's go back, look back here. This is Larkamp in the battle. Rugenbrink coming in. They go side by side. We're gonna do this. Our director and myself will have an inner next time. What we're gonna do, Adam? We're
Go
gonna
radio
do this
style.
old school. Radio style.
Radio style. Well, right now up at the front, on the outside, you're looking at Tuan Tran trying to make a move. Patrick Fliss is going to be able to retain the inside as they go through one. Coming down eventually through turn 2. Everybody gets through turn 1 once again, nice and clean. Patrick Fliss able to retain the lead here over Tuan Tran, but the pack has caught him here, Soup.
Yeah, we've talked about the pack up front. As they start to go down the Moraine Straight, it's a 7-car train at the front. The caboose is Bastian Hausman, Timo Vasilampi back in there. Let me correct myself. It's a 6-car train that includes our leader, Fliss, Tran, Num, Burns, Vasilampi, and Hausman as they work their way into 5, the best passing zone. And Adam, they're a little aggressive up there. I thought they'd be more single file, but they're fooling around.
Yeah, they really are. That seems to be like that through the entire field. It's even Sam Katazudas right now having a little bit of trouble back there, going through about 20th position on back. That's another big pack. And, of course, you got the pack up at the front right now that is just racing hard. In fact, the problem right now with them racing hard like that, starting to see a little bit of separation between them here going down the straights. But Tuan Tran right underneath Patrick Fliss's rear wing still.
One more time, you're listening to the Global Sim Racing Channel Radio Network as we bring you the Absolute Beginner Round 3, Season 13 from Road America. Your leader is Patrick Fliss and Tuan Tran. Those two drivers start to open up a little bit of a gap. You heard Adam talk about it right now. It's now those two and then 5 cars chasing them, led by Arrow Num. I don't think Arrow is worried that much, Adam.
Yeah, and that's actually still a little bit surprising about how much gap they've built on them. But, you know, they got a 2-car pack up front, followed by a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-car pack behind them. So that 6-car pack, if they could stay running nose to tail, they'll catch them in no time at all.
Drivers trying to get into the mix, into joining those guys would be Johan Vanderbilt. He races in 8th, the Dutch driver, followed by Vincent Bream. Those two guys are nose to tail in 8th. And now, to be honest with you, Vanderbilt's starting to make up some time now, looking to get to the back of the lead train. Back in 10th position racing all by himself is Floris Bashar.
They're still racing hard, but definitely a couple of distinct packs as everybody looks like they're nose to tail here so far going down the front straightaway. But Tuan Tran's going to go ahead and break out. He's going to try to make a move here. Is he going to be able to clear Patrick Fliss by the time they get to turn 1? Also move being made for 3rd with Burns looking over Euro. And indeed, Tuan Tran able to get it past Patrick Fliss going into 1. That back group, though, did catch up a little bit during that move with David Burns now in charge back there in 3rd.
Tran up in 1st, Fliss in 2nd now. Burns, Num, Vasilampi, your top 5. Let's go back and check in a little farther back. We talk about the top 10. Let's go back to 11. And the perils of Pierce Cockey. Boy, he qualified in 8th. He's now racing in 11th. He's being chased by Rugenbrink, Larkamp. This is a nice battle. Lundgren in there, and Kamara. That battle goes on. They are well behaved in that position. Kamara back in 15th spot. Cockey continues to have more issues as he's had an eventful first 7 minutes of this race.
And almost going wheel to wheel there with Joachim Lundgren. That was almost a disaster. Who's that teal car going on? Michelle Rugenbrink having a little bit of problem back there now. Also, he's off of the grass. Is he trying to keep it out of the walls? Or is he trying to get it stopped? I think Michelle has said, I'm done. I think he's calling it a day here.
Looking at Joachim Lundgren right now as we ride on board with him. Remember, there's a pit stop to be made. They just want to stay, do the best they can, let the real racing start after the pit stop. Lundgren racing right now in 13th position, looking up ahead at Pierce Cockey, who has had a season full of excitement early on.
Now, we talk a little bit, too, about front wing damage in these cars. So let's do a little comparison here real quick. Pierce Cocky, his front wing, that is where the front wing starts to batter a little bit. That thing is tweaked after the contact and everything else. You see a little damage on the side pod right there. That wing is tweaked and probably not doing him much of any good. Now, you go one car back behind him. You go look at Joachim Lundgren's wing. That's probably damaged from the curbs. Now, these Skip Barber cars, it's not really going to matter too awful much for Joachim. Pierce Cocky is probably going to be slowed down a little bit by that twisted up wing.
And let's go ahead and stay on him, and we'll see what kind of move Lundgren makes if he cares to do. He's got to run. He can have it if he wants, and I think he's going to take it going into one. He's going to look to pick up 13th position. Oh, Cocky with a little bit of a toe. All of a sudden, that car got a little faster as he pulled up behind Larkamp. Nevertheless, it's a twofer for Lundgren as he goes up to 11th, getting both Larkamp and Cocky.
And you notice the smart play there. Pierce Cocky's learned about that 3-wide thing, and he definitely tried to stay close and prevent that 3-wide from happening with Joachim Lundgren shooting up the middle. So he had to go off to the side in order to make that pass. So he's still able to make it, but he didn't get as good of a jump going into turns 1 and 2 as he wanted. In fact, Larkamp's going to come back on him here.
Okay, I think we've pressed our luck.
Oh, there's the middle. There's Pierce Cocky going up the middle trying to.
There you go. That's what we see. And he gets it done. Look nice for the runoff there.
And there was a little bit of car contact back there with Stephen Larkamp. Pierce Cocky caught his wheel on that wing just a little bit. If this was the real world, I'd be worried about a flat tire with Pierce Cocky's machine right now, but don't have to worry about that here.
We're looking at 12th. Let's go back 7th positions to 19th. Actually, it's going to be 18th position now. To our spotlighted driver, Eric Mickey. Boy, he was in a pinata full of bees a second ago. He got through Fiera, who's back there in 19th, Quinn, Kick, Sejas, Adams. He got through all those guys. He's having a nice run. Let's go ahead and bring up that graphic. Talk a little bit about him there, Adam.
Yeah, Pierce, excuse me, I was still stuck up Pierce Cocky. So Eric Mickey from Cranston, Rhode Island here, from the States. So always good to see one of the United States guys doing somewhat well here to start a new career in the Absolute Beginners League. He's a postal worker up there, so works for the Postal Service. And I'm going to guess, Soup, that this might have been a question about his favorite Star Wars character, going with Leia Organa there. So General Leia Organa now.
Now here's the story behind this. He made a great argument of this. Our poll question this season is favorite Disney princess.
Okay.
He was arguing that Princess Leia qualifies. So there you go, right in there with Cinderella.
I would argue that they do now.
Okay,
yeah, absolutely.
So there you have it. That's what.
I heard Joe Peak pop up in our ear just a bit ago. Almost sounded like a voice of dissension there, but his opinion doesn't matter because no one can hear him. That's
right. Actually, no, he said it counts. He was on board. So it's if you're keeping score at home, it's Rapunzel. As we look at the leaders, it's Rapunzel and then Merida and now Princess Leia. They're all tied at 1 apiece.
Patrick Fliss, move him back into that top spot.
And that train, 7 deep, goes back to Bastian Hausman. We're going to ride on board with the caboose. Looking ahead of all those guys, racing in the familiar black and purple colors of Mama Jean Racing. He's got the AM Racing team of Mikhail Hofladason up ahead of him. And look at that Hofladason making a move. Vascalampi, they are 2 by 2. Right ahead of that, my goodness, that's Burns right next to Numb.
Ooh, Numb is actually having to fight. Yeah. Usually, he's used to being up there in the front and holding people back behind him, but he's mired back there right now in 4th position. Cannot get around Burns.
Burns takes that into 3rd. Numb in 4th. Hofladason, Vascalampi, and Hausman. A little more aggressive than I would expect up these. Usually these guys are well behaved.
Now, one thing we've seen out of Euro Dub, when it does get aggressive like this, and he does end up in situations like this, you'll see him pit early, the earliest opportunity that he can, and somehow or another it ends up working out for him. But we'll have to see if he does something similar here. I'd have to imagine that they might be within a few minutes of their pit window opening up.
Yeah, we've seen him peel off early before, but that's usually when he feels confident, when he's the pole sitter. Today, Num only qualified in third. Not sure if he has the confidence that he can run with these guys as quickly by himself as when they're together. So it's a 7-car train. Then it's quite a distance back. Remember, we talked about Vincent Brame trying to get up there. Try as he might. It's still those 2 cars together, Bream and Vanderbilt, but they're losing touch. They're about a second and a half behind Hausman. But again, there are team points to be won. It's not all about winning. You just want to score for your team. Vincent Bream racing for 2 Stupid Dogs. And then Vanderbilt switching over to an interesting team, Sea Bottom Racing. As you see, you're looking at the fan belt making the move.
That front pack really kind of broke up here for a little bit there. You see fan belt all the way back there. Tuan Tran and Patrick Fliss now running once again 1-2 with a good couple tenths of a second going back to Euro Num and Burns and them. And then of course the third pack of that group top lead split there is Johan Vanderbilt and Vincent Rim back there. So break it up just a touch.
Yeah, let's go up front for a minute because I got to think Errol Num's got to start to worry because here comes. Call it a pass, but it's almost a coordinated move right now. And this is Patrick Fliss going out in front of Tran. They're just leapfrogging, trying to pick up a couple 1 or 2 car lengths each side down. They go down into 5. Tran right behind them. Don't be surprised as once they get through the carousel, then maybe after they get through the kink. Probably don't want to go too wide through the kink, but Adam probably able to passing zone down into Canada, you would think, right?
Yeah, passing zone is definitely there. You don't want to go too wide through the kink. These cars, with the narrow tires and low downforce, yeah, not a good idea. Now, when I raced the Nissan here a couple months ago, the turbo Nissan, you had enough downforce there that if you really wanted to, you could try it. But even then, I wouldn't recommend it.
And you can look at this is a great, you can look at this great overhead shot that our director has found. What I'm worried about, what Errol Num, he has no dancing partner. Now, let's go ahead and see if Fliss and Tran swap positions again. I think they're going to do it. They got to get the momentum right through the kink. And let's see if Tran in that purple and black machine gets a run. And if Fliss lets him by, here comes the run. And might be a case of I'm just going to save fuel now also. Yeah, he is lifting. Our director can... oh, boy, he is loose! Woo. Now, I'm talking about Tuan Tran. I thought he was going to lose it, and that now, all of a sudden, the story changes. It is Patrick Fliss all by himself as Tran's falling back into the clutches of the Rolling Estonian. Oh, my gosh, the talent.
Oh, even Patrick Fliss running a little wide there through 14. So now we'll see if what he's able to do, but that's a pretty big gap, and knowing that those guys back there have some drafted partners, that gap might disappear in a quick fashion.
I want to go back to a driver. We're going to leave this battle for a minute. Let's hope that settles down as we can see Num. Let's wait for a second. Get them settled down. Let's drop back to a new guy, a guy that I've covered in other races a long time ago. 12th position. Let's go to the big cat, Sam Catakazinos. He's well ahead there. Now they're chasing behind. Here comes Kurt Crum and Nico Roman. This is 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th, all the way back to Hendrik Camara. The big cat leading that train. He's about 14 seconds behind our leaders right now.
Whoa, Frederick Neptune just... something happened here. He just went straight off coming into 2.
Oh, don't watch if you get a replay on this one. This one is this one would scare you if it was in the real world. We'll see if our director has it. This is close your eyes if you're squeamish. Gotta be a hardware error.
Yeah. That looks like no inputs from the wheel.
Here we go. Hopefully his screen went black before that happened, so he didn't have to see what was coming.
that tire barrier coming fast. Jimmy Johnson, that thing going into a corner.
Absolutely. Well, that's bad news for Bush Pink. Remember, he's teamed up. We talked about it in the pre-race show. Teamed up with Errol Num. Every little bit helps.
And I use that Jimmy Johnson reference for European guys that may not be that familiar with NASCAR after this race, of course. Go look up Jimmy Johnson, Watkins Glen, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it very much reminded me of that one. Up front, let's go there for a second. We're looking at it. Right now, it's Fliss, and all of our concerns about Errol Num were for naught as he races in second, Tuan Tran in third. The rookie Vastilampi doing a good job of behaving. David Burns, Hofladezen, and Hausman. We haven't talked much about Mikael Hofladezen. Always quick at him, but always seems to find... There's always some reason he doesn't do well.
Yeah, he manages to find bad luck, or bad luck finds him. One or the other. You know, so... that's we'll see what happens, but we know he can run up front. We know he has speed. It's just he needs luck to go his way sometimes. But you know, it keeps going like this. He very well could be in for a top 5 finish here today.
Talking about that, how about fastest lap for Miguel?
Yeah, you look at that fastest lap for Hofladezen there. That was a 32.1. Go up just a couple of cars. And we were just talking about him a second ago. Vaskilampe, 31.9 in the middle of that draft right now.
Look how all these qualified. They are all legitimate qualifiers. The top, the guy who has really done the best, Hofladezen, the slowest qualifier in 10th. But he did what he needed to do. He needed to stick with that lead, guys. Get in the lead train, and that's what's going on. Oh, careful, boys. They race in formation. Working through 5. One of the best preferred passing zones. 5 is... it's really a great, exciting passing zone to get. Look at them up in front, though, now. And this we have... This is Fliss and Num and Tran running 1, 2, 3. I'm starting to get a little bit nervous.
Vaskilampe is no longer playing nice back there either. He wants some spots. He's going to try to make a move on Tuan Tran. Oh, and Basham Hausman, David Burns running into some trouble back there together.
Yep, it looks like... You know, I think Burns was worried about getting into the back of Hofladezen, and he checked up, and then Hausman got him. You're looking at Burns right there. Now watch, he gets up, there's Hofladezen in front of him, and I think he checks up a bit. I think Hofladezen checks up, then Burns checks up, and the concertina effect. So what does that mean? Well, that means Hausman is now out of the mix. He's losing ground. So now Hofladezen's the last car in the 5-car train up front. That's what those guys, that's what Fliss and Num and Tran, the veterans, that's what they want. They want that train to thin a bit. Thin the herd.
It definitely has been quite a bit the last couple laps, but we still got pit stops to go here, so we'll see what happens. So you see times where it's increased the number in that lead pack, but more often than not, it really starts to break them up even more. It's based on different fuel strategies and stuff like that. Tuan Tran, though, back here, trying to make retake 3rd position for Vaskilampe.
And you can see the car all by himself in that shot there. That is Hausman. He is dropping, and coming is Vandeveld. Remember, Vandeveld was in that 2-car battle with Bream. He's left Bream behind now. Vandeveld looking to get to Hausman and pick up 6th spot. Rounding out the rest of your top 10, Bashir continues to race all by himself in 9th. Jochen Lundgren in 10th. Let's go ahead and check in on our spot. Oh, we got a pitter coming in. Camaro was racing. He was back inside the top 20 coming in. This might be a good opportunity as Burns comes in as well after that spin to check in on our spotlighted driver, Eric Mickey, in 17th spot right now. He's got Timothy Roman ahead of him. Let's stay on this one. It looks like Mickey's going to make a pass for us, knowing that the spotlight's on. We're going into 5. And gets that done nicely. Move him up to 15th, well within inside the points.
Still sitting here cost of that 23-minute mark, so imagine we'll start seeing more and more guys start to try to think about coming down pit road. But I think these leaders, they might try to stay out a while, including Euro Nub. We talked a little bit earlier about how sometimes he likes to come in early. Right now with him leading the pack, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, it's interesting. He either likes to be at the back or at the front. The problem with Num is when he races from the lead, he can't fool anybody. He can't duck in for a pit stop without people knowing it. Right now, looks like Fliss might want some of this. Then you got to go back and think about the guys who haven't led anything, like Vastelampi and Hoflades, and maybe they've been saving a little fuel. Maybe their pit stop will be a little bit shorter. When I talk about short pit stops and then you have Errol Num in the mix, he seems to be fast and with a light foot as well.
Oh, I'm sure with him, he's got this figured out, where I'm sure even with him at the front of the pack like this, that you know, he's managing that gap between him and Patrick Fliss more than anything to make sure he doesn't save fuel. It's things like this where Patrick Fliss is going to try to swing out here and make a move. He's just going to let it happen. In fact, he might even let Twan go ahead and take, drop him back to third. It's all the name of saving fuel in the big game here.
All right, now here comes these two guys, Vanderbilt and Bream. Remember, they were in that battle for, well, just outside of the lead train, so they come in right now. Vanderbilt was trying to close in on Hausman. The Vanderbilt finds his spot. Vincent Bream finds his spot. Which one of those drivers is going to come out first?
3 wide for the lead.
And there goes Bream. And while that's going on, let's go up to the lead. Let's look at this 3-wide battle. And the guy who's going to come out the best is Errol Num. There's Tran on the outside. Oh, they are so close.
I'm almost 90% sure there was a little bit of contact there, but that was almost a disaster right at the top of this field. Euro Num still trying to get things figured out. See, Twan Tran's going to go ahead and run a little wide there, and Patrick Fliss is back here. Just come on, guys, let me by.
Well, let me tell you, Num and Tran have spent more time together than my grandparents. They always seem to race. If you want to talk about trust, those two guys really trust each other. They have raced like this countless times. Look as they race in diamond formation right now.
And that's the thing. These guys, they've gotten together before, but every time it's happened, it's not been a big deal between them two, because they know that for the one time they get together, there's been thousands of times where they haven't, you know, and sometimes in racing, things just happen.
Fliss has the speed, but there's nowhere to go. My gosh, he is so close to the gearbox of those leaders. Here comes Fliss. It's going to be 3 wide with 2 behind. I don't know if you can pack 5 cars closer than that. 3 by 2 into Canada.
Did we just go through the kink 3 wide?
Oh, they bang. None gets pushed off. Where the heck is Hofladazen going? There's no room there. This is where my mom would say, okay, kids, you've had enough fun. Stop before somebody gets hurt. I'm now counting 6 cars. Who's in the mix that doesn't belong?
Oh.
Hausman is back.
Hausman runs wide. Patrick Fliss says, I've had enough of this.
Yes. There's the smartest man in the bunch. The Slovene machine says, let me out of here. Probably a wise idea. Now these guys up front cannot afford to have all this nonsense going on. They know they've lost one of the 5 guys. They've got to put in a fast lap. So how does it settle out? Num, Tran, that Vastelampi in third. Look at that. Hofladazen. And Bastian Hausman was there for a while.
Let me give you an idea of that race and how much it slowed him down. Their Euro Num's lap before all that was a 2:32.35. That last lap was a 2:39.0. So it cost him almost 7 seconds with him racing around like that.
That's what brought Bastian Hausman back into the mix. Okay, Fliss is in and out. He's the leader of all the cars who've pitted. His stop was 12.9 seconds. Johan Vanderbilt got out in front of Vincent Bream. Remember, we saw them both come into the pits. Comes out Vanderbilt and Bream. That's the same order before they stopped. Those guys racing back in 17th and 18th position. Yeah, but yeah. Look what has happened as our director makes a comment. Look, let's go to 16th position with Fliss. Fliss now, remember, he was battling for the lead. All that nonsense that Adam was talking about, the slow lap time, that has brought Vanderbilt back into the mix. There's a chance that when the leaders come in, Vanderbilt now is going to be up in the front pack. Johan's going to be, he's going to be saying, how the heck did that happen? Because that interval is not because of a slow pit stop from Fliss. He had a really good time. But Vanderbilt right there. In fact, Fliss's stop was almost a second shorter than Vanderbilt's. So now these leaders have to stop the nonsense. Yeah, they've realized what was going on. They're now 4 cars up front. Wouldn't be surprised, Adam, if they don't come in this time. Let's see. They
might have to. I mean, I think that whole situation there might force their hand because they lost an awful lot of time in a very short amount of time. But no, only one taker. That's going to be Vascalampe.
All right. All Timo wants to do is get in and out and get on the coattails of Fliss and Vanderbilt. That's his goal. The problem is, he may not be a rookie to iRacing. He may be very experienced, but he's a rookie to this series, and knowing the exact details, how to make these pit stops work for you in this series is always tough for newcomers. We're right on board with Vanderbilt right now. Vascalampe. Oh my goodness, is this pit lane? Got to be the longest pit lane other than spots. This seems to go on forever. Finally finds a spot into the box. All right, Vanderbilt crossing pit entrance. Vascalampe still sitting there. Again, don't be fooled. It's a long way down this straight, Adam. Vascalampe rolling.
It takes forever, but the damage might be done here. We'll have to see where he comes out.
There they go. There goes Fliss. There goes Vanderbilt. Vascalampe is going to come out in front of Bream. Now the rookie's got to hustle, see if he can get on the back of these guys. How long was Vascalampe's slot? 13.2. That's right in the ballpark of everybody else. Patrick Fliss, still the leader of all the cars who've pitted. Errol Num, the leader of all the cars.
Let's see for long though. I mean, him and Tuan Tran have been trading spots a little bit here the last couple minutes, but all that's doing that is keeping Mikael Hoffendazen right now in this game, running third, and really in a good spot too. I wouldn't be surprised to see him the next one that comes down pit road, and that's if Euro Num and Tuan Tran don't hear this next time by. I would not be surprised to see Hoffendazen come in.
15 minutes of racing to go. The pit windows are really big in these 45-minute races. They use the same percentage of fuel for the 45s and the 70-minute races. And we know that we've seen Tuan Tran almost no-stop one of these. So if you're really careful, you can go for a while. Num and Tran out there right now. What Num and Tran want to do, they probably will stay out as long as they can, as long as there's no traffic in front of them. Just put in some hot laps and see if they can distance themselves from the guys they are racing who are on the opposite side of the track right now. And, of course, I'm talking about Fliss and Vanderbilt. And sure enough, are they coming in? As they say that, it's time to come in. 1, 2, 3. They're all in.
And Bastian Hausman following them, behind them. Here comes Floris Bashar, Joachim Lundgren. Hey, we got a party going on pit road, folks. I think this is the time. Everybody's starting to come in now.
Fliss is through Canada, working through 13A right now. He's opened up a little bit of a gap on Vanderbilt and Vascalampe. Fliss is really putting in the times. Num, yet to get to his box. He does now. He hits it perfect, as does Tuan Tran. They're in their box. Fliss is coming. Fliss is on the main straight. Our director has the perfect camera angle. It's the chase cam from the helicopter. Out is Tran. Out is Num. Out is Hausman. Fliss is going to get Hausman. But the two leaders are out well in front. Tran, Num, Fliss on a roll. Vanderbilt gets fourth. Hausman gets fifth.
Oh, Tran is sideways. He's in the grass. Euro Num has to take evasive action on him.
Num is by. Let's see if our director can find that one. My goodness, Tran had his car where he needed it. That was in corner number 3. What a save. And look at the save. Look at the, if the trees get out of the way, watch Num as well. Num does a good job of avoiding Tran as Tran brings the car back onto the track. Watch this. The car is pointing back to the track, and Num, whoo, that had to be scary.
Oh, and now they're racing hard behind those guys, too, going back to Timu Vaskalapi's back to Timu. Just lost his front wing on the back wing of Mikhail Hofladezen, and they're all still going straight, but there's been some contact. Johan Vanderbilt's now going to go into the front of that pack, but Mikhail Hofladezen, his car is loose now after that.
Oh, it's loose.
He might have some sort of suspension damage.
Adam, we talked about it once again. Bad luck finds Mikhail Hofladezen. Yep. Having a great race, but can never bring home the bacon.
Yeah, I think looking at the way his car is kind of teetering, he definitely has some suspension damage out of that. I think his day is done.
Yeah, he's limping around right now as we watch the replay, trying to limp it back around to the pits. So, what's going on up front? Well, after Tran had his little off through the alfalfa, that gave a bit of a lead to Num, but he has been able to run away with it. He's only 0.7 of a second ahead of Tran and Fliss. Those 3 veterans, they have broken away from the rest of the field. Hausman has made a great recovery. Remember, he was racing in the lead pack, fell way behind, then caught back up to him, went off on the grass, lost again. Well, he's racing in 4th right now. He's ahead of Vanderbilt. The rookie Vastelampi, as usually happens to rookies, they go back. So Vastelampi back in 6th position, just ahead of Vincent Breen. Let's round out your top 10. Burns in 8th. A very quiet run from Flores Bashar. What a nice run from him in 9th. And then a battle for 10th. Can we go there real quick? Let's look at this one. Crum, Lundgren, and remember Pierce Cocky? He's in there too. Uh-oh, here comes, look at Cocky. Oh, he had visions. He thought he was going to go put the toothpaste back in the tube, decided not to do it. Oh, and Adam, Hofladezen coming in.
Yeah, it's following him around. The car, every time he turned left, it tried to snap on him. So, definite suspension damage. This will probably be the last time we'll see Hofladezen here today.
I hate being right. Sometimes wishing him better luck than that. Well, let's go up for. Oh my goodness, Tran made a run at Num. Got really close, got a little bit loose. He's going to lose a position now, I think, to Fliss.
No! Going back to that battle with Lundgren and Cocky. Big accident now is Lundgren is through the wall. They made contact. Man.
The toothpaste did not go in the tube. Cocky was trying to squeeze it down the middle, and there really wasn't any room.
I'm not sure exactly what was happening there, but Kurt Kroom saw it all in his rearview mirror.
Here we go. I think Cocky's going to be the guy coming. Watch him try to squeeze through the middle. Bump. Off he goes. And there goes Lundgren. Cocky continues in 11th. Crum in 10th. Just over 9 minutes of racing to go. Num got challenged. The leaders were right behind him. Tran was there. He got a little bit squirrely. He had to give up the position. Fliss in 2nd right now. Still well within the tow. Tran in 3rd. Take a quick look at the nose of the 3 leaders. All those cars look to be pristine. We talked about it in the opening. There were 4 cars that finished within a second of each other. Remember last time they came here to Road America, those 4 cars? Those drivers were Errol Num, Patrick Fliss, Tuan Tran. The only one not there is David 3rd Degree Burns. Burns currently back in 8th position, saying, hey, 9th now as he's
well, he did qualify in 4th. That counts, yeah. Right?
Let's look at this. I think Burns is going to make a pass here. As I called him in 8th position, he must have been doing a little crystal ball racing. Dave's not going to do it. I guess he thinks it's pointless. Not like he's going to leave Bashar behind, so he'll just wait, do it on the last lap. Plenty of time, Adam. You talked about where the start-finish line is. plenty of time out of 14 for a lot of action to happen before they get to this finish line.
There is, and there's probably going to be a move made, especially these guys can stay somewhat close to each other. As Patrick Fliss it really has a fast car, but Euro Numb can come back on him here. I wouldn't be surprised to see these guys trade. Now, the more they trade positions, the more that's going to allow Tuan Tran to stay in this game. And you're talking about it in the pre-race show, that 3-wide dance that sometimes happens. This is a perfect place for that to happen, and we could see it for the win here from them.
Oh yeah, when the two cars get side by side ahead and punches a huge hole, you can make the move from third. Tran right now, though, having a hard time. Based on the way that his car has been tough to handle, I think he's really on the edge right now, trying to stay with these guys. Nevertheless, if you can get a good drive off of 14 from third position, anything can happen before that start-finish line, which is a long way. Look again, Tran again! Boy, he is... You got to start to worry now about the incident cap. Because I can think of at least 3 times I've seen Tran off. Not to mention maybe a little contact once or twice. Adam, they tell you, the drivers get to know where they are on those incident gaps, right? You can see those. You know you're in trouble.
Oh, yeah. You know, and that's that could be a problem sometimes. But, yeah, that's it really shouldn't be too much of a problem for most times. But Tuan Tran's got to be getting close to the many times he's been off here today.
Well, he has a good run. He had a great run down in through Kettle Bottoms there into Canada. He gained a lot of time. Now they work through 13, through 14. Just over 6 minutes of racing to go. We'll try to cover all the battles throughout the field, but our main attention now for these final 6 minutes of racing, a lot of it's going to be focused on our leaders, Numb, Fliss, and Tran. Is there any chance at all for Hausman, Vanderbilt, and Bream to get there? Probably not. But Vincent Bream sitting in 6th position. He has a chance, legitimate, to get a 4th. Let's go to 4th position right now. You can see a pass being made. This is Hausman being attacked by Vanderbilt. Going down into 1. There we go. In fact, now they get into that first corner. Vanderbilt in 4th, Hausman in 5th, and Bream in 6th. So we have 3-car battle up front, then you have a 3-car battle for 4th.
And all 6 of those positions will likely change hands before we get to the start-finish line at the end of this thing, where I'm guessing when they came across, probably got about 3 to go, I think, here by time and their lap times and everything. So still a long way to go here, even though there's only 5 minutes on the clock now.
Vascalampi racing in 7th. Can we check in real quick? We'll go back to 8th position. Check in. You see him at the top of your screen there. That is Burns and Bashar. Bashar just got around Burns. They continue to swap. We'll drop back again. Cocky in 10th. Kurt Crum in 11th, looking to get a top 10. That would be nice for him. Let's cover a little bit farther through the field. Let's go to 12th. The big cat, Sam Catacazino, in 12th. Ahead of the American driver, Stefan Larkamp. Eric Kamara all by himself in 14th. Nico Roman in 15th. Liam Quinn in 16th. Are we ever going to get to our spotlighted driver? 18th position. Right behind Timothy Roman is Eric Mickey. Nice job. He's inside the points. When you got the spotlight on you, if you can score some points, you've got a good day. Nice job. This is only his 2nd race in the series. Not going to get his best finish, but he's going to score in the points. All right, let's go back up front. Under 4 minutes of racing to go. Numb, Fliss, Tran. Adam will cover this mainly. Once they cross the start-finish line, we'll jump back to see how the rest of these guys play out.
Yeah, and Patrick Fliss looking a little hungry there behind Euro Numb, but not able to do anything on the exit of 14. I think he might be trying to feel out something here for the end of this race, depending if he's in that same spot. But it's starting to get a run, but Tuan Tran's getting an even better run. He's going to swing out here. So these guys continue to fight, and I think that'll be 2 to go. So I think next time by it'll be the white flag.
This is interesting. They're going to let him, or he's going to take it. Tuan Tran
I don't know if there's much letting anybody do anything here now at this point of the race.
Num is going to fight back. They're side by side. They go down into 3. This is where Tran is not really good. Keeps a good job of keeping it the tight line. Again, side by side now through the Marine sweep down into 5.
Here we go, 3 wide.
Oh, here they come.
You guys get to racing like this. Those other guys are only 4 or 5 seconds behind, so lots can still happen.
Oh my goodness, they got to get this sorted out.
Hero Num, take it to the grass a little bit.
Tran has got to back out of this, and he well, kind of does. He leaves room a little bit. They only go 2 wide through there. All right, now they tuck back in order. Num, Fliss, Tran.
Okay, so just them going 3 wide like that allowed that second pack to gain a second on them.
Yeah, the second
if I'm in that second pack, I stay nose to tail no
Yep.
matter what. Don't make any moves, and maybe something will happen here up front.
Because they still got 6 miles of racing to go. Here comes a new lead. Fliss goes to the front. Num says, I don't think he wants to mess with him. So that swaps again. Now through the carousel. Turning right, turning right, turning right, turning right. And now on the throttle. The interval from Tran back to Hausman, 3.5 seconds. Through the kink.
And we talk about that 3-second gap, but remember, we've already had one thing here where these guys got to racing hard up front and lost 9 seconds on the lap. So that's why we're going to keep monitoring that second pack back there.
Tran took a peek in there, didn't want it. He stays in 3rd. Now this will give you a good indication, viewers. Watch out of 14 when they come here, how long it is before we get to the start-finish line and how much racing there is out of the final corner before the race will be over. This is the penultimate time out of 14. Now they're on the main straight.
What?
Oh, Tran is pulling off.
Did he? He must not have taken enough fuel.
He tried to save, but he couldn't. That changes stuff up considerably now.
Oh,
now they cross the start finish
going
line.
defensive here, trying to break that draft.
Fliss weaving like a drunken sailor down the straight, down into 1. Num will have none of it. Adam, I think Errol's going to stay there the entire lap. I think he's going to do it out of 14. I think Errol's quite happy in second.
And these guys, those guys back behind him, I think we can write them off now. They got to race a little bit, now fell back a couple more seconds. So it is on Patrick Fliss and Hero Num right now, and then the battle for 3rd.
What do I know? Errol Num making a move down the Moraine Straight on the outside. I guess this is important. I guess if you're as good as Errol Num, you'd rather be in front. They're going to be two side by side going into 5. Careful, boys.
I think Hero Num's just trying to keep Patrick Fliss honest at this point. Like I think he knew he wasn't going to be able to complete that move.
Oh, we got to go. Let's go back to 3rd real quick because we'll get our leaders in a second here. This is a mess. This is Hausman, Vandeveld, Vastalampi, and Bream. I guess they get that sorted out through 6. All right. We'll leave them. Let's go back up to the front. A 4-car battle is so exciting to watch. All right. Through the carousel.
Patrick Fliss running a slightly different line. He doesn't want to let Hero Num have any of that draft.
2 legitimate places to do it. You could do it into Canada. You could do it out of 14 to the start-finish line. Here we go. They're through the kink. The Slovene machine ahead of the rolling Estonian. Round number 3 in the Absolute Beginner Season 13. Fliss leads. They go into Canada. Num wants none of it. He's happy where it is. Now he's just got to be good through 12. He is. A 1-car length lead for Fliss. Num back there, poised to steal the position. It's all about corner exit out of 14. Fliss comes out. It looks good. Num's looks good as well. Unfortunately, he's right in the toe. Now watch Fliss try to weave. Here comes Num. He's 1 car length back. He's half a car length back. He moves to the outside. They're side by side. Did he get there? He did not. It went to Fliss. He ran out of time. Let's go back to Bream.
Vincent Bream gets third. Vascalampe gets fourth. Floris Bashar, well, David Burns is going to get fifth. And Johan Vandeveld, who started that last lap third, is going to finish seventh. He had problems going into Canada there, Soup.
Bashar looks like he's going to get sixth position.
And that race there for the line between your two leaders.
Cocky Shortfill has ran out of fuel. Get a little bit of a help. Ran out of fuel says, I know how you feel, buddy. There is Pierce Cocky. He's going to get 19th position. How did our spotlighted driver come home? Eric Mickey comes home in 15th. Looks like there were 26 drivers on the lead lap. Daniel Barnett, our last race spotlight driver, going to be that last car. All right, let's assume that Daniel can bring that home. What we'll do right now on the Global Sim Racing channel is take a short break. We'll come back to run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers before we put a lock on the gate. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Absolute Beginners Formula Neagle Round 3 of 8 on Season 13 from Road America. What we're going to do right now, before we go to the standings, is replay for you this final corner out of 14, the move for the lead. And you can see, I think right here, what wins it for Fliss is this move to the right and a few seconds, the milliseconds of time that it took Num to get back in behind him and get back in the tow. That little bit of time that Num was out there all alone was enough for Fliss to get the win. That's how they finished up. And let's go ahead and run through your finishing order then right now. And you saw it. It was Fliss ahead of Aero Num by 3/100ths of a second. Vincent Bream from out of nowhere comes home in the final podium position. Timo Bascalampi in 4th position. David Third Degree Burns and Floris Bashar go 5th and 6th. Johan Vandeveld in 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th. Kurt Krum, what a great run from him. Big Cat, Sam Katazinos in 9th, and Stefan Larkamp in 10th. Adam?
Yeah, going back to 11th position here for today. Henrik Camaro, one of our very first takers on pit road here for today's going to come home in that 11th spot. 12th position, Liam Quinn, Nico Roman, Timothy Roman coming home in a 14th position. 15th position goes to our spotlighted driver, able to pick up a few more spots with some other people having some trouble. So 15th position for him. Ari Sejas coming home in 16th. 17th is going to go to Thomas Kick. And then just the heartbreak for Tuan Tran running in 2nd before he had to come in before he ran out of gas. And Piers Cocky also running out of gas to the line. Tuan Tran was nice enough to give him a little push there at the end. Henrik Bergman coming home in 20th position.
The next 4 drivers all still on the lead lap. Darren Kuhn, William Rulin, John Richard, we'll go with that one, and Daniel Barnett. Then you get to the drivers that were 1 lap down. In 25th position, he was racing up front for a while. Bastian Hausman, Kevin Mills, Rob Adams. Joaquin Lundgren is 4 laps down in 28th position. 29th and 30th. Oh, yeah. Mikkel Hoflades, and sure enough, I hope it wasn't self-fulfilling prophecy on the by the commentators on that one. In 30th position, Frederick Neptune. Adam?
Yeah, and a couple more guys that had trouble here today. In 31st position, you'll find Rodrigo Capilotto Ferrari. We missed what happened to him, but I know he was on pit road with a beat-up race car. Michelle Rugenbrake, his troubles, 32nd, 33rd went to Christopher Hancock, Neil Bamber, Richard Klum, Edgar Cincinelli. They were all involved in, I believe that was a lap 1 accident, and then Colin Reeves rounding out the field in 37th position.
Okay, we've got our race winner. It is Patrick Fliss. Patrick, we can talk about the whole race, but I got to start with the very end there. I think you won the thing with that little move to the right there that left Arrow out alone in the fresh air there for just a second.
Yeah, I think so too. I only did one move. I didn't want to weave and be a jerk,
right.
But yeah, I did the one move and it worked out.
You made it quick. What was your thinking going into that? You guys were still racing. He was making a move for you down into 5. I thought being in 2nd was the place to be. Where did you want to be on that last lap coming out of 14?
I actually didn't know it. You can win being in 2nd or in 1st. It depends on how far back you are. But it was kind of awkward at the last lap. I told Arrow I had to fuel save in the previous laps. I didn't want to sandbag like I did, but yeah, I had to. So then I said, let's battle it out, but he didn't understand me, so that was kind of awkward. He thought I wasn't going to finish the race.
Let's go to the middle of the race with some. Usually, the rules are for the lead train to just behave themselves until they get to the first pit stop. You guys threw away the rule book today. That was some crazy racing up front.
Yeah, it's too boring for me to just feel safe. On the 70-minute races, it's a bit different. You kind of have to. But I don't know. It's kind of a shame. Those long races won't be as much fun, I think. Right. But yeah, that was a really great race. Also to Tuan Tran. I trust both those guys very much. So it was really fun. Shame he lost the fuel.
We'll get you out on this one. If it was so much fun, how come you left the party early? You're one of the first cars to pit.
Yeah, that was, I don't know, that was getting a bit scary. I mean, they were checking up really hard because they were going too wide. And then from behind, I almost got punted like 3-4 times. So I said, well, have fun.
Yeah, Adam pointed out during the broadcast that the the lap times for you guys when you were playing around was literally almost 3 to 4 seconds slower than a normal lap.
Yeah.
The guys behind you were quite happy. The guys in 7th, 8th, and 9th were gaining quickly. Hey, it's good to see you back in the winner's circle. Congratulations. You put a stop to the Roland Estonian. He had a 4-race win streak, so that's always nice. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you. Bye.
Patrick Fliss. All right, Adam, who you want?
I guess we'll grab down Mikael Hoffade's in here, and we'll talk to him. Yeah, so unfortunately, a big run of bad luck for Mikael. You know, I just see your comment here in chat talking about how you had fuel for the whole race, but ended up not having to save it all, but still ended up getting caught out by bad luck there, Mikael.
Yeah, it's been a crazy race, the whole race, but then we have had a little bit misfortune. Teemu miscalculated, I think, his braking spot after the long back straight, almost killing Vanderbilt. I got a great run out of the corner. We went 3 wide and all chaos broke loose.
Well, we know that you're very fast, and you showed it again here today by at least getting yourself into position where it seems like the last couple races, you really haven't been able to get to that point of putting yourself in position before trouble found your way. Did it feel good to be running up front?
It felt amazing after qualifying P10, and on lap 1, I think I was already up P7. Like, this is one of my many favorite tracks. So I'm very disappointed of not finishing in the top 5 or top 4 that I know I had pace for, but I mean, it's racing. Can't do much.
Yeah, and of course, any racer will tell you, sometimes you just hit those runs, bad luck, or you can't do anything about it. But you mentioned your favorite tracks. I got to ask you, is Circuit Zolder one of your favorites?
Actually, I've not been driving that track too much, so it will be an experiment. I can tell you next race how I feel about it.
Well, that sounds like win. It sounds like a plan, and hopefully we'll be able to get you back up here again. But hey, good race while it lasted. Hopefully you have some better luck next time.
Yeah, I hope so too. Thank you.
Mikael Hoffade's and bad luck seems to find him. You know, if you want a different type of looking race, when we go to Zolder, the draft should be broken up by all those chicanes. It's hard to get. You want a track with lots of rhythm. Well, Road America, you want one with no rhythm as a Zolder. So, especially depending on the configurations they choose, there are chicanes aplenty there. Let's go ahead and give our thanks, as we have nobody else to talk to in the interview booth. Everybody at the Absolute Beginner League for organizing Formula Neagle and contracting with GSRC to broadcast it. Thanks to the company's equipment and software that you see on the screen right now that we use on the broadcast, the original music that gives every GSRC broadcast that unique flavor and feel. That's thanks to Eric Eckelman and Casey Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact each of them. Partner?
Yeah, and Formula Neagle, we're coming back here in about 2 weeks. It'll be the 4th of March. We'll be at Circuit Zolder on the alternate layout there, so that ought to be a pretty interesting race, and we'll definitely be there to check that out for you and bring you all the action. Sliding across your screen now are some other important upcoming broadcasts, so check those out, mark them down on your calendar. If you'd like more information about GSRC, including a complete list of future broadcasts, find it all at GlobalSimRacingChannel.com. We're also on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook at /GlobalSimRacingChannel.
Finally, on behalf of the man whose voice you just heard, Adam Young, our director, Joe Peak, and our camera artist, Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank all of you for watching. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle. So until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.